gonna put my feet up. Got my feet up. That's nice. Got my feet up. I'm relaxed. This is nice. I got my feet up. I'm fresh. You know I'm fresh. 2 showers a day. I got a cigar. I got a 6 sour. And what more could you want? Oh, got a cold beer. Just one. I'm not here to sin. Just one drink. Evening, what's up, bro? Is what it is. I got some good news and I got bad news. Here's the bad news about this cigar. If you were looking for bad news about this cigar, I got bad news. There's no bad news. This is actually pretty good. Leap years difference than the Maduro version. I mean leap years. The Maduro version of the cigar was a muted chocolate, watered down chocolate note, and a very dirty kind of flavor, and then it went to garbage. This is a semi-potent Habano cigar. Feels like a true Habano. Classic Habano. What do you get in classic Habano? Rich earth, rich cedar, lots of that twangy sourdough bready, lip puckering sourdough feel. You get that in classic Habanos with a long salty finish and a good amount of black pepper. I can't stress enough. When companies go full Habano, those are the flavors you're generally going to get if you have a good palate of understanding what it is. They all, most of the time, all Habanos generally feel all the same. Just like classic Connecticut's all feel the same. The difference is they'll have a variable, maybe a little bit of darkness. There'll be variables on how hard they push it. There'll be variables if it's muted, and there'll be variables because of the size, how it feels, how it draws, etc., etc. And then obviously variable on quality, right? Not all vanilla and chocolate ice cream is the same. What do you mean? Did you buy the cheap store brand for $2 for half a gallon? Or did you get a really good Breyer's ice cream, which is a solid brand, or even a higher quality ice cream? You know, Blue Bunny or something like that, or what's the other one? I don't know. The point is that it's different. Just because you say notes or flavor, there's different levels of quality. So it begs the question: is this cigar worth smoking? And the answer is actually yes. That's hysterical. If I would have predicted it before I bought these two, or right when I bought it, I would assume the Maduro was going to be better than the Habano. After that, I would assume maybe they're both the same, pretty decent, whatever. I wouldn't expect the Maduro to be pure shit and the Habano to be pretty good. This is not a mind-bending Habano. This is not as strong as that El Rico, which will make you a man or prove that you're not. I can't stress that enough. The El Rico Habano will make you a man or prove that you're not. I can't stress it enough. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. And now, and at the price point, I paid $8. The MSRP is $8. Now, $8 was the what do you call it? The gouging lounge. So you can get these, at most places probably for $6. And $6 we're at that Pearl de Del Mar and some other brands that are making some, reliable mid-tier stuff. Low mid-tier has a range, right? Um, so generally, you don't expect too much from an entry-level mid-tier cigar. You hope it works, and it's just not terrible flavor. We hope you get something decent, right? But there's some that are great at low mid-tier pricing. Doesn't always happen. I can't stress it enough. The Grand Age Gurkha Habano is not garbage, and this had everything going against it. everything. I can't. I can't stress enough. You know, I'm not a liar. I'm going to tell you the truth. So yesterday's the Maduro was garbage. The Habano today is not only not garbage, it's pretty solid. It's definitely enjoyable. The strength right now in the first half inch is a reliable medium to full. The darkness right now is a reliable 70% darkness. You like that? I'm quick on that. 70% darkness, 3/4 strength. What's up, Caleb? That's your boss. So 3/4 strength, 70% darkness. The finish is long and heavy. So overall, the cigar would be considered a strong cigar, although it's not a kick-ass cigar. It's not going to hurt you. But for the layman's terms, this is a cigar on the stronger side. Gio, what's the issue? He's saying there's no comments? What's going on with my comments? Okay, I can see your comments, guys. I can see the comments. Anthony P., what do you want from me? You see me, Anthony P.? Caleb, Anthony P.? What is going on here? I see the comments. Here's the thing. Normally they post my comments right away. I see them. I had to click on the box and it said, do you want to see the visible comments? So I don't know what's going on with the app. And frankly, I don't give a damn. I don't care. You guys aren't my problem, all right? All right? You're not my answer, so you're not my problem. It is what it is. So, initial impression. This is a good value cigar. If you're gonna get these, even at $8, but at $6, at $6, the MSRP, the Habano is a good value cigar. And it's not just good because it's $6. It's just a good cigar. Now here's the thing. It has 100% classic Habano flavor. Earthy, sourdough, twanginess, lip puckering, that pungent sour feel, black pepper, and rock salt on the finish. No sweetness. That's a classic Habano feel. The question is it going to maintain that or is it going to go to garbage? Hey, what's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on?
How's the new place treating you? Nice, huh?
Yeah, it's a better view, huh?
Yeah, sure. I like watching the.
I got mountains. I got a racetrack, and I got nice big skies, and I don't have people walking their dog taking a piss and shit. You know.
Yeah, and the guy in the scooter going by.
Oh yeah, no, the first floor. I mean, in theory, I don't need to be strapped on the third floor. I mean, unless the guy's gonna bring a ladder. You know, I mean, what's gonna happen? I mean, you got to go up 50 feet. You know. So what are we smoking?
The Oliva O Maduro, 6x60.
Which one? Oliva V Maduro? Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever had. I never ever had that one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to go.
I think we're getting a bad connection for you. That's kind of out of your that's out of your norm smoking that kind of. You say that for a second cigar, you know? Because normally the stuff I see you smoking,
Yeah,
normally I see the stuff
exactly.
you're smoking is normally higher end or smaller. You know, you're normally not smoking 6x60. So is it just because it's your second cigar? You can throw in like a filler or
Yeah, exactly. It's just something to pass the
right. So
time.
that's a cigar like that might be if you're smoking really good stuff. That's you can say, well, that could be a good second cigar. Who cares? Because you're not, you know, if you're gonna have one cigar for the night.
And I got a cheap Seabit. I got a cheaper Seabit, so if I have to go in, just leave it,
Exactly,
fuck it,
and that's like it's kind of like it's like if you're on the go and you got to stop at McDonald's. It's not the norm, and maybe I don't recommend it. But if you haven't eaten all day and you're on the road, just go grab a cheeseburger and then go and sin no more. So this is what it is.
I don't want to smoke all the El Rey.
Here's the thing too. I think a lot of things affect the cigar besides tobacco. And hear it out. I think expectation and perception are huge, and I think as you change in your life, as you fluctuate, if you're doing better financially or worse financially, you might have different expectations, right? Also, I think perception. As the more you smoke cigars, if you're paying attention and you're becoming a more knowledgeable cigar smoker, you might come back to something and like it better or like it less, depending. So as you grow, you know what I'm saying? Though, because the one thing you don't want is to like a cigar because somebody else told you to like it. You try it, but don't be a blind hater or lover of cigar. Like I wanted you to try the Alvaro Mundo because it was great, but I wanted to be great for your experience as well. Like if you didn't like it, or you thought it was Richie, this is a garbage cigar. I didn't want you to lie to me and say, Richie, it was great. I loved it, and you hated it. You know what I'm saying, though? So, I think when it comes to
I think I've gone through like 5 boxes, so
say,
yeah.
say again,
I think I like 5 boxes of those El Rey Del Mundos right now.
you had a lot of them.
That's a great cigar.
El Rey, dude, like that's why I don't push a cigar. Like this is a good cigar. It's probably gonna get 4.0, especially factor in the price. The $6 cigar, but I paid $8. But the classic Habano, see PG just coming in. It's actually really good for a classic Habano. I mean, because you know me, I'm not some like crazy Gurkha hater or Gurkha lover. If it's good, it's good, or if it's great, it's great, or if it's garbage, it's garbage. So it's not like I'm just blindly saying they're all bad or they're all great. I don't do that. I'm honest. And yesterday's Maduro was hot shit. It was garbage. It was just garbage. And there's nothing worse than a garbage Maduro. I now it was only $8, which at an expensive lounge it should have been 6. So you could say, oh, what should I expect from a $6 Maduro? Well, I have $6 other cigars that are actually pretty good. You know what I'm saying? No, so I'm not saying they're world class, like blow your mind, but you can get a Cortado or you could get a Boulevard and have a really good time for $6-7. This cigar for a classic Habano is actually enjoyable. And think about it, not only is it expensive, $6.50, it's 6x54. So you're getting a big cigar a lot of time, and it's medium to full. It's actually potent. So if you like classic Oliva V, if you like other classic Habano cigars, and you want a value low mid tier price point, this actually tastes better than its price point. So now you're getting this kind of value. You know what I'm saying? No, it's kind of like it's punching above its weight, if that makes any sense. The bad part is the Maduro version was hot shit garbage. So it is what it is. This one is a winner. The Maduro, shit, absolute shit. So it's what it is.
I hope the Gurkha in probably 15 years, to be honest with you.
And I don't listen. I don't blame you, but if I did recommend ones to try out, if you're in that kind of mood, the cellar reserves. The problem with you're in New York, and the cellar reserves they gouge. So I don't blame you not wanting to spend $20 on a cellar reserve Gurkha. I get that. You can go smoke Padron. You know what I'm saying though? So it is what it is with that. Now, like for me out here, believe it or not, most of the lounges out here they stock Gurkha as a stocking, and you can get cellar reserves for like $12.99, and they're pretty good for $12.99. Like it's more of a higher end mid tier cigar, and they're really nice flavor. Um, it's the the cellar reserves are made at the PDR factory. Now PDR, depending, they're either a lot of low end mid tier brands, but they can make higher mid tier cigars. I've yet to see a high end luxury cigar from PDR, but because Gurkha doesn't make their own cigars, everything is contract with different companies. This one is contract with a company called Las Villas. Las Villas, I think, makes cigars for a lot of other brands, some small, some a little bigger. But I just think Gurkha finds all different companies to work with. They work with Oliva, they work with Aganorsa Leaf. So because of that widespread, you might come to one and go, oh, the ones with Aganorsa Leaf, I think you would like the Trienta, the 30th anniversary, and the Nicaragua. Those are Aganorsa cigars. So you can't blindly hate on that because you're like Aganorsa is a solid brand. I mean, whether you like them or not, I mean, it's Aganorsa is like a Placencia. They're a big brand. So that's the problem with Gurkha is because they work with so many different companies. If you don't do the research and know what you're getting into, right? This is obviously a lower end Gurkha, but it's not garbage. The Habano was good, and for $6, I could recommend it. If this was $12, but at $6, it's a enjoyable Habano and it's not garbage. Um, so I think that's a plus and minus. Other brands like Ashton, yeah, they don't make their cigars, but Ashton makes Fuente make their cigars, which is a pretty good contract. You know what I'm saying though? So you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, we've yet to see Fuente make cigars for Gurkha, but I would buy that all day. Can you imagine if Gurkha had Fuente make them a high end cigar? I mean, that would be pretty good for both ways. For Gurkha to be like, yeah, go fuck yourself. Here's a luxury cigar. Imagine like an anejo level cigar. You couldn't shit on it. I mean, if Fuente made a cigar as a contract, why doesn't that happen? Maybe Fuente doesn't want their name associated with Gurkha. Maybe you know.
Well, Gurkha makes that one cigar I always see online in the groups, the one with the glass tube and the
Well,
wax seal. You ever see that thing? It gets crazy price.
are you talking about the ones
It's like
with the Abuelo, or like the ones that's infused with different cognacs, or
I think that's the one with the cognac.
yeah,
Yeah,
they have one that's infused with the Louis the 14th or whatever the hell that is.
it's like a couple $100. I think maybe even
Yeah,
more.
I'm not going to be smoking that. I'll review it if they want to send it to me,
Nah.
but no. I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you take even a great cigar, which it could be great tobacco, and you could take a great cognac like Louis the 14th, but basically infusing any high end alcohol with the tobacco to me is a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? Though,
Yeah, kind of do.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it'd be smart if the box came with a bottle of Louis 14th. I'll drink it, and like you could call that a self infusion cigar. You self infuse it.
Yeah, I wanted to say thanks for that Punch Golden Era recommendation. My God, that's a good fucking
Wait,
cigar.
say that again,
The Punch Golden Era.
dude. I've been pushing that for over a month. Did you believe me?
Wow, that is a great cigar. Honestly, holy shit.
Yeah, that's one of the best Corojo cigars I ever had. But understand that is Aroa. Aroa is they used to make the original Camacho Corojo. You know what I'm saying though? So if you like that golden era, know what you need to try next? Aladino, because Aladino is made by Aroa, the same guy. You know what I'm saying though? So if you love golden era, you're gonna really like Aladino, because Aladino is just basically Golden Era is just an Aladino with a Punch brand name on it. If that makes any sense.
Gotcha.
So in
Yeah.
a way, Punch just did what Gurkha does. Punch outsourced. Punch didn't make that cigar. They contacted someone else so they could make something they don't normally make. Because even the rare Corojo, it just has like one Corojo leaf in the filler. It's not a Corojo cigar. You know what I'm saying though? So I think with by the name of the rare Corojo, it's like There's rarely any Corojo in it. You know what I'm saying? So, but the golden era blows away the rare Corojo. The golden era is solid. Like when you think about the
Flavor.
flavor, and from the first puff to the end, right? From the first
Yeah.
puff,
Yep.
it's a bowl of golden grams, sticky, a golden honey, black, black pepper and nuttiness and cedar. Isn't that
Really
beautiful
great.
in the cigar? Like how many times have you smoked that?
Hmm. Twice in the last like week.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. I'm definitely getting more of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you ever hear of Did you ever hear of Stolen Throne cigars?
No.
I think it's like a boutique brand. It's like red and white label. It has like a black, like a crow on the thing. It gets a lot of talk in the group, so I always follow those to
I'll
see
have to hear about it because I'm always
what all the fuss is
I'm
about.
always interested
Yeah.
about new stuff coming out to see if it's a potentially good brand or a good cigar, and then see what happens. You know. Yeah, you're gonna have to. I'll have to in the private chat. I'll have to repost my because my address has changed now. So
Hmm.
I'll tell you what, bro. I'll tell you what. This thing is smoking nice. It's a medium full. It's 70% darkness, and it's a pretty heavy finish. I literally can't say anything. I cannot say anything bad about it. And if the original MSRP price is $6.50 for a 6x54, it's a high value cigar. It's a 4.0 at a $6.50 price. So I mean, it's not as good. Obviously, it's like a golden era or some shit like that. Not by any means, but for $6, it would be a good like second cigar. You know what I'm saying though? Like you already had your steak, but you want to go get some cheeseburger afterwards. You know, so it's. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, it's luxurious. It's not. But I'm not gonna lie to you and say it's garbage. Yesterday's cigar was garbage, and I can't stress enough. My emotions are pure. Whether people agree with me or disagree with me, I don't lie to you guys. So this is not bad. It's not mind blowing, but my expectations were so low for this. I was hoping, please, just don't suck, and it's so much better than that. So it's actually a relief. I'm actually relieved. I'm relieved that it wasn't bad. Yeah. Yeah. See, Jason said golden era, golden graham cereal, very yummy. Yeah. Everyone that's tried the golden era agree with me. You know, and if they don't, I don't want to talk to them anymore. You know,
How many sizes? Is it three sizes in
what's
that
up?
cigar? I smoked two different ones. The long one, the golden era.
It got the classic. It's not the classic sizes. It's got Robusto, it's got Toro, and it's got Churchill. It does. They don't do the Gordo.
Okay.
The Churchill's the best one. That's the
Yeah.
skinniest one. That's a 48 gauge. I will say this though, the 48 gauge and the type of tobacco, it does burn pretty fast, but I don't mind. I'd rather it burn fast and get great production of smoke and have tons of flavor than it burns too slow and you're like, and if you know what I'm saying, like that cigar, the construction on that cigar, man, you can tell they know what they do. That cigar is firing all cylinders. Like, uh, it kind of
Beauty.
feels like a Padron in some ways. You know what I'm saying though? Like right off the bat, that cigar, you know, Padron starts off in the last third. There's no build up with Padron. Padron 26 or 64, you light it up, you're in the last third the whole time. A Fuente builds up. Padron doesn't build up. Padron is kind of like a Martin Scorsese movie. It starts the end at the beginning. You know what I'm saying though? But it would stay at the end the whole time. Like you know, every Padron from the first light up, it is what it is, and it's not changing. It's not going to get weaker. It's not going to get stronger because
No.
it's already at maximum capacity from the first puff. I can light up a Padron 64 in that first puff. You're like, whoa, shit, and it's going to stay that way the whole way. You know, so Now, some guys don't like that. Some guys like the buildup, and it is what it is. I think the Padron, if you go into it, understanding what it is, Padron is like a closing pitcher. You don't want him for 7 innings, but when you call for a Padron, he's going lights out. He's coming in like a contract killer, in and out. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying though? Absolute reliability or your money back guaranteed. I've never had a Padron and go, oh, that sucked. That means something. You know,
They're always perfect. The performance is always perfect.
but the flavor is so consistent, like really consistent. Like I've never had a Padron 26 and go, I'm getting honey notes and vanilla and a mild coffee note. It doesn't feel like a normal Padron. Every time it's black pepper, tons of rich chocolate, and tons of earth, and more of that. And if you like that note, you're gonna love it. But it does it at such a potent level. But the quality feels real. It's like it's like I can explain flavor all day, but there's a difference in quality. Like going to McDonald's for coffee, or to getting a true espresso. You know what I'm saying? Go at a high end restaurant. You know what I'm saying? When you get high quality flavors, there's a difference than of like garbage flavor. I can't stress it enough. Describing the flavor is only one part of it, but the level of quality of the flavor. Would you agree? Like when you smoke a Padron, it's a high level of quality as far as the flavor.
Yeah, that's the first cigar I really fell in love with. When I first started, the girl said, "Oh, you seem to like full body, full strength cigars. You should try a Padron." So I tried a 64
Yeah.
exclusivo, and when I lift that thing up, I could still remember it. I said, "Holy shit, this is a fucking great cigar," and I was in love. I was in love ever since with
Yeah.
Padrones.
No, I mean they're great cigars. I mean, I could complain about the price point, but I mean, when you're on top, and when I mean on top, I'm not saying they sell the most cigars, but with Padron, there's such demand, and I feel like they meet the demand more than like Fuente. And what I mean by that is Fuente has plenty of supply for their low and mid tier stuff. You could get mid tier Fuente in the middle of the desert. But you want that Hemingway Maduro? Oh, you want a Hemingway Sun Grown? Oh, you want a Don Carlos Personal Reserve? Oh, you want a Neho? Oh, you want a Rare Pink? Oh, you want Opus? Good luck. And then when you find it, it's gouged. So I feel like I wish the higher end Fuentes were just available. And you could say, well, they can't do that. They can't rush the hands of time. And I get that. But they can't increase production. Maybe they can. Maybe literally the higher end Fuentes are max capacity, and because the demand keeps growing, the supply is less. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I think it is because they would sell it just like the high end Padron 64s, 26s, the family reserves. Like those are always in stock, pretty much. Especially at lounges.
Yeah, dude, I can go to any lounge, and if they carry Padron, I can get a Padron 26. It's not like they're flying up. They constantly sell, but there's always stock. You know what I'm saying? Though, when you go to a
Right.
store and
Right.
I remember like last year I called up like we got one box of Rare Pink. There's 8 left. You better get here now. And when I got there, I bought one, and I was like, "When did you open this box?" He's like, "Tonight." He's like, "That's the second box, and that's it." Like you sold 2 boxes of Rare Pink in one night, and they only let people buy one. And I'm like, "That's buzz. That's some serious buzz." You know what I'm saying though? Because that means everyone that came
Crazy.
to the lounge that night smoked a Rare Pink. That's pretty crazy, you know.
Have all glass cases, and they had just the Padron. And this store has everything. I said, where's the Padron? The other the 64. And he went to the bottom of the case in the cabinet, and he had he had fucking everything in there. The 26s, the family reserve, 64. He's like, which one do you want? He had to open, he had to rip the plastic off because
Well,
for me.
why do you keep it separate?
I guess he just doesn't have room.
I've seen
I guess he just
places,
didn't have room. I don't know.
no, I've seen places hide them, and I'll tell you why. I've talked to different shops. I always ask them like about people stealing. They say Padron is their number one stolen cigar.
Mm,
Padron is their number one stolen cigar. That's got to mean something. Like, like, because people love those cigars. And think of this: if some guy and he's got a friend, he could sell them for $12 a stick. He paid nothing because he stole it. He could flip those cigars because you know what I'm saying. So Padrones are highly out here. Padrones are highly stolen, and so they generally either keep them really high, even in some place in Long Island. They always keep
yeah.
like you know, like my guy, the other guy keeps his Padrones locked up, like out of sight. Not the 1000 series, but the 64 and up are all.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have to ask. And he said he used to have people steal them. He said he used to have a guy. He used to buy them, but he would grab two. But then he started realizing he was having a low count, and he did the books. Every time the guy would buy two, he was grabbing like four, and he would go walk to the door and he'd put two in his pocket. And this was a guy that was a customer for years. So imagine how much money he lost if actually every time you buy two Padrones, you steal two Padrones. That shop is losing a lot of money because to recover all that loss, let's say that Padron cost him $12 and he's selling it for 20. If you steal two, that's $24. If he's only making $3 or $4 a stick profit, he's got to sell 8 Padrones to recover what you stole off of like one cigar. That's a lot of money, man.
Yeah. Can't make money like that.
Well, that's why a lot of places keep Padrones locked up or separate. Maybe that does hurt them though, because if people don't see it and if they don't ask, now they can't buy it. You know what I'm saying? So, what I would do is I would put a sign saying, "Ask for Padrones." You know what I'm saying though. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I can't say anything bad about this. It's a potent Habano. The quality on it doesn't feel like ridiculous high level. The El Rico was stronger. The El Rico is better and a higher tier quality cigar. And believe it or not, that El Rico goes for like $8 a stick if you're buying a box. Have you ever had El Rico Habano?
No.
Bro, that cigar would scare you. That is so potent. Like that is the strongest Habano cigar I ever had. But it's awesome. Like it's so pure. It's so honest. So rich for what it does, and it feels like there's no fillers. Like it's like just true potency. Like they're not chopping it up. Like they're like, we're gonna give you a really strong cigar here, and it's really high level priming Nicaraguan, like high level priming, and a really great Ecuadorian Sumatra Habano wrapper. Um, I'll be honest, the cigar kind of scared me, and I'll be honest, I had it twice and both times it fucked me up. Like the next day, it was fucked up. Like both times, like the next day, I didn't smoke a cigar. That's not normal for me. Like that. So
No.
I always like to add caveats on a cigar, like added information, almost like if you're doing a background check or some detective work. That cigar is not to be played with. Like you can enjoy that cigar, but understand, like save it for a Friday night and you don't have work the next day because you might have to take a sick day because of El Rico Habano. They could rename that cigar personal leave because the next day you might have to imagine calling out sick because of the night before. That ever happened to you?
No. 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 Unless there's a lot of booze involved. But no.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, I used to get like the sweats and nauseous from a lot of the Padrones I smoked. Like especially the 80th anniversary. Really, that's a that's a long time ago.
I'm gonna have to drop the ash. It's burning perfectly. Great construction. But you see right here, it's getting really like separated right there. The ash doesn't look heavy, and I don't think it's gonna hold the structure. You know what I'm saying though? From my expert opinion, with the next few puffs, I recommend to drop this ash. You know, that's what I'm gonna do. You see the cracks there like that? You see that?
Yeah. Think it's gonna go right off?
What's that?
Think it's gonna fall right off?
No. I'm not saying it is. It's all about probability, right? Something could always surprise you, right? The Giants beat the Patriots twice, right? Something could always happen, right? The underdog could win, but statistically, it doesn't happen, right? So statistically speaking, when I see a cigar ashing like this, um, it's time to put it down. That's that's generally my thinking. He asked you what? He said, "What about this versus the Diesel Grappa?" No, Diesel Grappa is the better cigar. The Diesel Grappa is the better cigar. I feel like I'm in Beirut right now, but people just setting off fireworks, and because of the open area, the echo is really loud. All right, we're gonna drop that, dude. All I did was go like this, and it just came right off. I told you.
Yeah,
See,
it's ready to go.
it was ready to go, dude. Am I right or am I right, bro? Like I'm like a cigar. I'm like a cigar ash advisor. Like I'd be like, sell the stock now. Sell the stock now. Yeah. So it is what it is. But as far as the wrapper grade quality for a $6 cigar, like it's actually really clean, and the seams are really tight on the Habano. I got to give it so the quality of the construction, it's almost seamless, and it's almost a flawless wrapper. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe a little more lighting. Nah, it's not going to help. But you see that? I mean, it's not a bad wrapper, man. So the problem is that consistency. Like that doesn't happen with other brands. You know what I'm saying, though? So I understand people don't want to try any Gurkhas because they don't want to waste their night if they get a bad one, or a blend that's not worth their time. And I get that. But for me, as a cigar reviewer, I take the risk because if I didn't take all the risk, how many great cigars you in the lounge wouldn't have tried if I didn't take the risk? You weren't smoking punch cigars. You weren't smoking Hoyo or El Mundo on the non-Cuban side, right? So, and even then, like,
Never would have
what
happened.
about when,
No, no way.
when's the last time you really fucked with Cohiba too, on the non?
Well, I bought a lot of the the seabed cheap ones. The red, the blue, the black ones. But
But
I would have never paid good money for one.
but you probably wouldn't have tried the purple if it wasn't for the lounge, right?
I wouldn't have tried the purple. Yeah, absolutely, definitely not.
Yeah. So it is what it is. It's, anyone here try the Sanj Patel? I haven't tried the Sanj Patel. I mean, there's only one person I've heard talking about it, and that's the 60-second guy. Whatever. But also, he has like a business connection, I believe, right, with the guy, or he smokes a lot of cigars there, or maybe he gets stuff for. I don't know. I don't know his whole total connection. So I can't. I'm not going to make shit up. But I've seen the guy make videos with Sanj Patel. So the issue with that is he just pushing cigars because he's making money off that, or it's his friend? So even if it is a good cigar, you have to add that caveat. Like, you know what I'm saying though? Like, so is that like a good blind test of that cigar? I don't know. I'd have to try it for myself. Uh,
Yep.
well, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's kind of like Ford reviewing those. You know why they have magazines called Car and Driver? Because they review the cars that people make. Imagine Ford having their own magazine. Ford reviewing Fords. Like, oh, this is great. The car is great. It's really great. It's almost
It's perfect.
that's
It's a perfect
like
car.
in socialism or like in North Korea. Like they have their own. Like you think the news in North Korea is not propaganda? So like in other news, our great leader, is still great, and he's magical. And you're like, yeah, oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a good review. Wow, no problem to North Korea. So I would have to see other people that are not connected to Sanj Patel review the cigar for me to take it seriously, because or else it's like a paid advertisement. You know what I'm saying though? It's if you're working with the guy, it's not really a fair review. Do you agree with that or not?
absolutely, 100%, of course.
It's kind of like with the police with internal affairs. They're like, after we investigated ourselves, our investigation decided that our investigation there was no problem. And you're like, what? We put the officer on paid suspension. No, but here's the thing though, too though. I'm not going to say the cigar's bad. I haven't tried it. What I'm trying to say is, or see a collective group of guys without smoking it, of maybe 3 or 4 other people trying it out and going, oh yeah, this thing is really good. So it is what it is. I mean, nobody cares. It's a stupid place.
Hey, buddy, I gotta
Hey,
hop
you better
off. It's getting late here.
go to sleep. You gotta go work in the.
Yeah, I gotta be up early. I don't. I took off tomorrow. I have a nice 4-day weekend, so but the kids are gonna have me up fucking bright and early.
Go to sleep.
So
Sleep. I'll see you.
gotta run, buddy. Hey, thanks for having me. Good night, everybody.
Take care of yourself. I'm gonna see you. Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. So I'm not talking shit about that cigar. I won't, because I haven't tried it. But as cigar reviewers, if you have a connection to the guy, of course you're gonna say it's good. So I don't know. Has anybody here tried the cigar? Has anybody tried the Sanj? Oh, yeah, this is not bad. This cigar is getting a 4.0 with the caveat it's a $6 cigar. It's a $6 4.0. It's a $6 4.0. You have to, you know, and understand what my 4.0 means. My 4.0 was like, it's a pretty good cigar. Nothing to rave about, but it works. It's solid. Construction's solid. Draw is solid. Burn is solid. And the flavor was good. The flavor wasn't mind blowing, but the flavor was good. So in that case, for a $6 cigar, with that, it's a 4.0. If this was like $12, $13, it wouldn't have gotten that. But with that in consideration, if you did see this in Habano for $6, $6, $7 at a lounge, yeah, here's what it is. If you want to slum it, check it out. Here's the thing, PG. It's hard to say price no object, because if price was no object, I would just smoke Cohiba Spectre for the rest of my life. But I can't smoke Cohiba Spectre for the rest of my life. First off, the amount of boxes would be insane. And it is what it is. Sodom and Gomorrah. Saint Sacco. Saint Sacco in the house. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. To me, with the price point, yeah, yeah, exactly. The price point, to me, affects higher end cigars more. And why do I say that? Well, if you don't ask a lot, A cigar is a cigar, right? So if you don't ask a lot for the cigar, I don't really ask a lot for the cigar either. Does it work and is it decent? The more you ask for the cigar in money, the more I require in performance. And how do you stand out against the crowd? And how do you stand out against other people at that price? How do you stand out against other people at a higher price? Right? Like, so if I could compare a $20 cigar being equally as good as other $15 cigar, then you're kind of wasting your money, right? Sacco told me to go screw it. I thought Sacco was reliable. Nobody cares. Oh, Sacco's at a restaurant. Sacco's at a restaurant. So it is what it is. Sacco's at a restaurant. Let's test Gio's reliability. Let me test Gio's reliability. If I had to guess statistically, 3 out of 4 times when I ask Gio to come on, he doesn't show up. Although Gio is a good guest, Gio is not a reliable guest. And that is what it is. And you can take that to the bank. You can bounce it twice. I mean, Gio's not reliable. Gio is not reliable. I can't stress that enough. It is what it is. The guy's not reliable. Yeah, he doesn't have pants on. He's already asleep. He's at his mom's house. Like, whatever excuse he wants to give. He's clapping cheeks. I don't know. I mean, we're getting solid construction out of this. No problem with the burn. No problem with the draw. And the flavor's not bad. It's not mind blowing, but no, you had it right the first time. The female vowel at the end, yeah. Gia. 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 It is what it is, right? Yeah, Gio's not even here. Gio's not even here. He's not a reliable guy. He's a son of a bitch. He's unreliable. He's unreliable. Gia is unreliable. Geo puts the G in unreliable. It's silent. It's silent. Geo puts the G in unreliable. Is what it is. So yeah, I'm not going to give this cigar high praise, but it deserves to be respected. The Habano Grand H2 is a 4.0 at a $6 consideration. So it's a respectable. There are better cigars for $6-7, but there's definitely worse. See, here's the thing about Gio. He's so unreliable. So Gio would rather have nobody on. Yeah, gosh, yeah. See, Gio, don't worry about what other people are doing. See, Gio's not a good friend. You are an inconsistent friend. Gio's like, why would I come on? Why would I? Gio, I'm here every night. If I went by that, Gio, I would have canceled the show. You're a real son of a bitch. Don't worry about what Garza's doing. Why did you come on? See, Gio, don't call other people out. Keep their names out of your mouth. Keep their names out of your mouth. He's buying soap. Nobody cares. But apparently, PG is absolutely reliable. And here to talk about Geo's unreliability is a special guest. Are you getting anything right now about the unreliability of Geo? Can you confirm?
I'm getting some absolutely not breaking news, some previously confirmed news many times over that Geo is completely fucking unreliable.
Wow, you're so true. You know, you're a smart guy.
This this breaking, no, it's just the same news. It's the same news. Sorry. How you doing, Richie?
I like how Geo basks in his unreliability. He's like, just put on someone else. He's like, we need new people here. Oh, that's the shit I need to hear, right? That's the shit I need to hear.
No, it's good, man. He's telling you how to run the show. He can help you. He can help you with ideas. He can run the show for you. Can
Oh,
tell you how to do your job. Man.
look what he did now. He says, "Oh, I was getting ready to come on." Bullshit, dude.
Look, man, bro. I'll hop off, man. I just came on because I don't want to be unreliable. That's all.
No, but you understand if you care about Richie and like the classic Saint Sacco is not available because Sacco is here, but he's at a restaurant, so I understand that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
No. But Gio is like, listen, get someone else.
It would be cool to have three people on the live. I don't think it works that way though.
Not right now. Maybe in the future.
Yeah. So, Richie, here's my thing, man. I want to make an argument. The argument is, I think that cigars should be graded price no object from bottom to top, utilizing an entire system. So let's say 0 to 100 or 1 to 10 or whatever. And I think it should be descriptive. So I think quorum should be ones, whatever. And and the reason I say this is, you say, okay, it's a 4.0 at a $6. Okay, fine. But what if you give a 4.0 at a $7? You know what I mean? I mean, then it's kind of hard for me to equate. I would
That's
rather say,
enough in dollar range, but like if this like if another cigar costs $15 and it's a 4.0, that's a better cigar than a $6 4.0. Because this is why I'll explain why I do that. Because if you have a great cigar at $7, $8, right? Like the El Rico, getting like what a 4.5, 4.6. Then if you have a $20 cigar, getting a 4.6. If we don't add the pricing as a factor, why the hell do you need to smoke a $20 cigar? It would really hurt the higher end cigars because there'd be no point then if you just based off the numbers. Does that make any sense?
no, see, well, here's what I think. I think that you can get a cigar for crazy prices. Like I said, I've gotten Xeno Platinums for $4. I've gotten like Illusione CG4s, which is the Corona Gorda, for like, I don't know, $6. And at $6, I mean, at $6, any original documents, in my opinion, is like a 10. Any original documents I've smoked, all the original Illusione series. But see, it's like, what's the price of the cigar? Okay. But then what are you paying to get the score? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm paying for a 7 out of 10 cigar. But can I get a deal on it? Is it a $7 cigar I can get for $4? Is it a $15 cigar I can get for
Getting
7?
deals on the internet is separate than from MSRP pricing. I can't have three different rating systems for real pricing, internet slashing pricing, and then gouge pricing. If we base it off gouge pricing, why would you smoke Opus? It's not a
Well,
$50, but you
that's
so
that's true. That's true. But you have a cigar like, let's say the Hemingway Maduro, $12, I think, about.
yeah,
I don't know. Correct me.
yeah.
Um, Sin Compromiso, it's about 16, 17, I think, but you can get it online like 10. So, do you see what I mean? It's a weird situation where you say, it's hard to judge it based on the price because after everything
Well,
shakes out.
price isn't the only factor. The cigar, I always say if the cigar is good or not, period. And then you factor in the pricing, how it compares to its competitors at that price range. That the pricing is really not about the cigar; it's about to its competitors. Is it better than
I
cigar?
see what you mean. So it's really like a 4.0 in the mid range.
Any cigar should cost. We can only compare the cigar. Okay, for example, you could say a Honda Civic. Is that a good or bad car? It's a bad race car. It's a bad truck, but it's a great commuter car. So we have to compare it to within its category, not in price range as well, and category. In this case, all cigars are cigars. It's not like some cigars go off road. Some cigars are for speeding. You know what I'm saying? No. So in this case, we really can only compare the cigar to itself, and then as far as price, how it compares to its competitor. Because, for example, like Golden Era at $12 is a great cigar, and then it beats a lot of cigars at that price range, and beats a lot of cigars at a higher price range, and that's how that works. If that makes any sense.
It makes sense, and I think what almost the way that I see it, the way you're saying it is, it's almost in tiers. Do you have a super luxury cigar, and how's it dealing as a super luxury cigar? You know what I mean? Like Rocky might be making a decent cigar. If it's $20, is it competing in the super luxury price
No,
category or $30?
cigar is a cigar, right? If it's
Yeah.
long, but the price is telling you where it belongs in the cigar universe. So if you're telling me it's a luxury cigar at $25, well, I'm not going to compare it to a $5 cigar. So its competition is going to be harder to beat. Does that make any sense? The more the more expensive you say this cigar is, the tougher the enemies are. I can't stress enough. I can't compare $25 to a $10 cigar, right? But I can compare a $10 cigar to a 25. Why? Because if that $10 cigar is as good as a $25 cigar, that's a box worthy. Buy the shit out of it. Does that make any sense?
So here's the way I see it.
An overpriced cigar, because at least if a cigar is underpriced and bad, you can spend that much money. If a cigar is overpriced and it's garbage, bro, not only do you have a bad night, like last night that sucked. The Maduro sucked, but it was $8. It's $6.50 MSRP. I've had Rocky Metallics for $20 that were garbage. That's a bigger loss. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, fair enough. The way I see it, excuse me, is a cigar has a theoretical peak, I think, in terms of an experience. I think there's such thing as the perfect cigar experience where it is ethereal and uplifting and transcendent. Sounds crazy, but I'm just saying that's a 10 out of 10 cigar for me.
I just
So,
by transcending, like, why have I smoked this before? I can't believe I'm smoking it now, and I can't wait to smoke it again later. Like, you have this like past, present, and future experience. Like the first time you smoked the Hemingway Maduro, you're like, I've never had this before. Why? It's so great now, and you know in your mind, you check that box. You're going. That's the best thing. Is the last factor. You're going to smoke this again. If you're not, even if a cigar is good, doesn't mean you're going to hit that last factor. Are you going to smoke this again? Like, are you going to put it on your Richie list? And that's what I'm saying, though. So,
I guess that's a very product oriented perspective, and I think it's a very good metric because it shows how much somebody likes it. Another metric similar is like, would you smoke it back to back? Like, do you get done with it and you're like, I want another one right now. If I had another one, I'd smoke it right now.
that's
Um,
like an El Rey Mundo or a purple or a golden arrow. Yeah, I would do that.
Jason says if you rate the cigars on MSRP only, then you can compare a $6 cigar to a $12 cigar, maybe. Um,
Yeah,
you're
but
saying because it's like half the value?
well, I'm not sure exactly what it means by that. But what I'm saying is, there's two. It used to be there was only one cigar price. With
Mhm.
all these different prices for the same cigar, what do you want me to do? Only review it by the internet price? Because most of the times when you try a cigar, you're gonna try it one time at a lounge. Very rarely you're gonna be like, oh, let me just order one stick on Cbid and pay $8 shipping. because now it's not cheaper. You know what I'm saying though?
Hmm. Yeah, sure.
So the lounge, even though it's the more expensive option, it's kind of cheaper. And I'll explain why. Because if you don't like it, you don't want a box of 20 of it. So the lounge, you go for a one night stand nightclub. Seabed, you go for commitment, get a better price on a box. But you want
Hmm.
you want to smoke it 20 times. That's you know what I'm saying though. So when I say something's box worthy, that's a really heavy stamp of approval. Like this is not a box worthy cigar. I'd say check
Sure.
it. So the, I have my rating, how it compares cigars at its price point. I'll talk about if it's better or worse than its price point, and then I'll talk about how many times I'd recommend it. A 5 pack, a whole box, etc. Um,
See, but I think these are all sub strategies on how you interact with a cigar. So back to my vision of it, I think
and I'll explain
maybe
why,
this is.
because even if a cigar is a 4.5, it
Mhm.
might not be a cigar you want to have all the time. It might be such a weird, exotic, funky, crazy cigar. Like, yeah, that was good, really interesting, really unique, and price point. But I don't know if I'd want 50 of those things.
And again, that's an important caveat. I mean, some sticks, yeah, I agree. There can be a 4.5 or a 4.0 that's a box worthy or not a box worthy, right? Because that's really usability comes into play for that.
Granddaddy of them all, the Fuente Opus X Dubai, 4.99999. You could say box worthy at the same time. How many guys can even afford the box, or how many guys can afford the box and find the box? So that's another issue. So it's kind of like I'm not gonna tell people go out there and get them and drop 2 G's, and like how many guys can do that? You know what I'm saying though?
Right.
Richie, I'm selling my car. I'm gonna buy a box, and you're like,
So here's my thing. I think that you have can have a more objective, not you, but one can have a more objective rating of cigars from worst experience to best experience, because a cigar is really, yes, it's all of these tools. How good is the blend? How good is the construction? How good is the experience? How is it hitting you? All that, but that really comes down to the experience of the cigar. So I think all of
it's
those things.
unfortunate because our society is based on money and money is based on time. Therefore, I have to factor it in because unless if you're some rich dude that just born into wealth, or if you're just a hot chick that gets free cigars, then it doesn't matter for them because price doesn't matter. Like
But
if your father was a millionaire and you were born into wealth, then price doesn't matter at that point. You could just how does it go against this competitor? It doesn't matter. But for regular people that have a budget and have life going on and kids and a house or a mortgage and child support and credit cards and debt and a car payment, how could you say it's not a factor?
no, but that's exactly my point. What I'm coming to, because well, let me answer that in 1 second. I'll tell you where I'm going with that. Basically, you have a measure of what is the ultimate output, the experience of that cigar. Is it a 10? Is it an 8? Is it a 7? Whatever. Okay. Now, then the question becomes, what is your relationship to your time, your money, and cigars? Are you Geo and you only want to smoke 10 out of 10 no matter the price?
And
And anything else you'll turn your nose up at? Then it's fine. Then if
well,
there's a 10,
if
yeah.
you're a cigar snob, that's another issue. You know, and there are guys could be cigar snobs that are middle class guys or rich guys, but also depending on if you look if you at the end of the day if you don't have kids in that cost, the same middle class guy can have more expendable cash. You know what I'm saying that? So, but at the same time, there are people that have a lot of expendable cash that don't want to piss their money away either. Though they might say, "Listen, just because they're making 150 grand a year, they don't have kids. I'm not going to go drop $500 in every box I buy just because it's $500." You know what I'm saying that? You know, if that makes any sense on that. So I'm just an honest guy. Whether if I was where I'm at now or if I was making twice as much money, I'm not going to just say something's better. I'm not stupid, right? I'm not going to say the same cigar if they double the price now it makes it better. Like that's retarded. It doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, but what I'm saying is you can have an 8 at any price. You can
Because
have a 9.
the play with cigars is not like gold. Like gold is gold. You can know what the price of gold is per ounce. So if you're going to buy a pound of gold, you might have some play and say, yeah, there's going to be a little upcharge because to buy the pound, but you know you're going to get it's still within reason. If gold is $2,000 an ounce, why would you pay 5,000? Like that's a bad investment. But at least you have an idea of what the literal worth is right now. There's no literal worth on any cigar because you don't know how much that tobacco costs per pound, divided by how much the cigar weighs, divided by how
Sure.
much it's going to cost for fermentation, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and how much it costs, of course, construction, how much does branding cost, how much does
But
the band cost. You know, you see what I'm saying though? And at the end of the day, you have the manufacturer, the middleman, and then the store, and the state, the federal taxes getting involved. So,
sure.
unfortunately, the price you're paying isn't. Let's say you're in New York with a 75% tax. A $10 cigar is $17 in New York. So that's a whole nother factor.
But again, all
That's
of those but none of the thing that really matters in the end is what is your experience and how great is that experience. So if you can get that experience off an $8 cigar, see that's why I think it's a more objective measure. If you say the experience is equal, one might be 16, one might be 8, one might be 10. If they're all 8s, you can compare that and you can say which profile am I more interested in if they're the same level of quality, or what is
okay.
my relationship to my money and my time.
There are cigars like the El Rey del Mundo for $12 that are as good or beat other $20 cigars. So that
Right.
makes El Rey del Mundo have a high value factor because it beats it beats its competition and it beats higher level competition. And here's the problem: it doesn't always work in guys' minds. Not just with cigars. People look at the price and they're like, that must it has to be better. I think it has to be. I told you the story about the pool guy. He was a pool guy, had a company with like 5 employees, and he did put in pools and maintain pools in the Montauk, in the Hamptons of Long Island. Rich people, millionaires and billionaires. One summer, he started losing a lot of customers, and he asked them, "How come you don't want me to maintain your pools and open your pool and service it every week or every month, and or put in a new pool or a jacuzzi, whatever?" He said, "Well, listen, we have a new guy," and he said, "If you don't mind me asking," he said, "how much he charge you?" Oh, his bid was $5,000 more than yours. He said, "So why didn't you go with me?" You know what they told him? They said, "Well, how could you do a better job for less?" See, people that money's not an option, and it's like art. Oh, this piece of art is $5 million. Really? It is because we said it is, and you can't afford it, and that's what it is. So at a certain point, yes, higher end cigars might have more, like David O had more going into it, and I agree with that. But did $50 of labor go into each cigar? You're fucking kidding yourself. That's all I'm.
But that's why I think that's exactly why I think an objective measure is important, because you can say, okay, this Davidoff is phenomenal, but it's twice the price of the El Rey del Mundo, and I give it the same rating. I'm not, just for instance.
At the same time, though, if I start going around saying Hoyo de Monterrey or El Rey del Mundo, um, as a whole, the whole brand is superior to Davidoff, people wouldn't take me seriously as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Though, because as a whole, Davidoff should be better overall. So that's why it's that caveat of it. It's because what am I going to tell people? Not to smoke a $20 cigar, not to smoke a $30 cigar. Go buy whatever you want to buy. All I'm saying is, though, on the flip side, just because a $12 or $13 cigar is half the price of your $30 cigar, doesn't make it half as good. It doesn't. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
Jason says cigars are too objective or subjective. I don't think well, price is definitely not subjective, Gio. I definitely don't think cigars are too subjective in the sense that if somebody's giving their honest opinion, like Richie's giving his honest opinion, if he has a certain experience with one cigar and a different experience with another cigar, that's objective in the sense that it's data taken from Richie specifically. So, how does it strike him? Now, is that how it's going to strike you, period? Probably not. Or maybe it is. If somebody
And then,
has really good taste, yeah.
are you dehydrated? Is the cigar too wet? Are you an idiot? Do you burn your cigar before you light it? Like you got to say my experience is superior than most people here, and I've had very calculated data throughout the show, and where I compare and contrast things, and I'm pretty good at it.
But
You know,
you also have good taste. I think people, some people have the capacity, in my opinion, to look at something and really analyze it or experience it. Some people are not, or I don't know if it's the capacity. I don't know if it's a will to do it, but some people do it. Some people don't do it. So I think you've proven time and time again that you are critical, and you're deeply looking into these cigars and experiencing them and
but
giving an accurate.
he goes, "We'll go to a cigar lounge and treat yourself." The question is, what is a treat? What is luxury? When my grandfather came to America, his drink of choice on the weekend was Johnny Red Scotch. And at first I thought about that. I'm like, that's laughable. But then I realized he grew up in poverty. So when he came to America, Johnny Red was luxury. So when people say treat yourself to a good cigar, if you brought a homeless man with you to the cigar lounge and you gave him a Partagas Black, he's going to be having the best night of his life, sitting there drinking Johnny Red and smoking Partagas Black. So you're going to take that away from him? Is that not luxury? Are you too drunk on um, refinery that you couldn't enjoy that because you're too good for it? I think what happens is the more you smoke cigars, whether you're a middle class guy, because we can't say poor people, because if you're homeless or poor, I don't really think you're smoking cigars. You're smoking crack. So for middle class people or rich people, no matter what, you start at a certain level, and then you always want to build up, and then you start liking nicer and nicer stuff. But at a certain point, people forget about the nice stuff here because they're like, no, I've been smoking cigars for a long time. I have to enjoy this because this is where it's at. Okay, but so there's nothing good going on here? No, those are garbage in their minds. You know what I'm saying, though? And it
And
is.
again, again, that's my argument for an objective measure because you can say, all right, I've got $5. What's the best cigar I can get that's in my profile? You know, um, I guess the way that I see it is it's a price to performance ratio, right? How good are you getting for the money you're paying, and how much does that matter to you? Because that weight is going to be different for different people. Sometimes sitting down and smoking a cigar for an hour, if you're doing really well, smoking a cigar that's under $30 might not be worth your time. You know what I mean? Like if it's going to perform at all worse. If you have to deal with it at all, the extra $20 is easily worth the difference. So I think it comes down to each person's criteria and the weights each person puts on it.
Yeah, but once again, the standard for cigars is not like a tool. Like there's shit quality tools and good brands, and then really higher end stuff, like a German made tool where it's like it'll last you forever. A cigar's not gonna last you ever. You're gonna smoke it in an hour and it's done. So it's like the difference between most 10 to 12, $13 cigars and a $30 cigar is not much difference. So, even if it's better, it's not three times better. It's never going to happen. If that's the case, all the $10, $15 cigars I smoke would have to be at 2.5. And then all the Opus X's are 4.8, 4.9. And it doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying?
I give you an example. Now this is a more objective example, but I have an expensive pair of headphones that I took like a full year doing research, trying different headphones. I finally settled on a high end pair of headphones. Much more expensive than it was like, compared to how much I had spent on my computer or anything else in my life, it didn't make any sense. But it was important for me, I felt, to have a clear view of the sound I was listening to. So were there headphones that were, you know, a third of the price, a quarter of the price, that were, only a couple points worse, like very close? Yeah, totally, 100%. But the difference between those last couple points was what I was really looking for. So sometimes you have to pay past that price versus performance optimization. You have to go all toward an unoptimized.
So, well, like I always said, though, to get a cigar going from really good to insane, it's a small difference in
Right.
increase, but it's a huge increase in price. It's diminished returns. That's all I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
So you could.
Exactly.
I smoke plenty of $20, $30, $40 cigars, $50 cigars. I smoked a lot of them, and a lot of them are great. I'm not saying they're not, but what I'm saying is I've never smoked a $30 cigar, and it's 2 or 3 times better than like an El Rey Mundo. At the same time, I'm not saying every mid-tier cigar is equal to a higher end cigar. I'm not saying
Sure.
that. But it's kind of like, for example, it's like a guy, we'll use Josh because he loves Glock. If you bought a Glock to protect your family, you're fine. You can protect your family. You could go, well, yeah, it's not as nice as a Sig. I prefer Sig. Sigs are going to cost you $1,000. Are Sigs twice as good as a $500 Glock? No, but they're more refined, they have better triggers, and they're more accurate. Well, is the Glock inaccurate? No. Is the Sig more accurate? Yes, but it's not 100% more accurate. Does that make any sense? So I think like once you get to a certain point where something is solid, to go from something solid or adequate to better than that,
Right.
it costs a lot more to get better than that, and for a little more. But that little more might make the difference.
Right.
If two guys
Exactly.
are shooting at each other in a war, the other guy, his weapon is, let's just say, 10% more accurate. Like at 100 yards, he gets, let's just say, under rapid fire, he's getting 2-3 inch groupings, and the other guy's getting 5 to 6 inch groupings. Well, the other guy, his round went here, and yours rounds went here. You know what I'm saying? No, that 5 inches now is here in the face. So
Right.
once again,
I think you're making a really good point there, because often when you say
weapons go against each other. Cigars
no,
don't.
no, hold on.
You
No, no,
understand?
no, 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 no,
You
you're
understand?
making a more generalized point than you realize, because I think you think that's a specific point, but it's actually a generalized point, because you can take one step past that, where you can say any situation where you're trying to find a solution, what is the tolerance for error, or what is the actual problem that we need to solve within that. You know what I'm saying? So if you're saying we would need to make a cigar and there can be absolutely no construction issues, and we have no tolerance for air there, then you're making a very different cigar. It's gonna be a very different price point. Am I frozen?
But once again, though, cigars are subjective because like weapons are subjective, but also weapons can be people have gone to war or people have had battles. A cigar doesn't have a battle. You are battling yourself. Oh, I smoked this one today. Then tomorrow you smoke that one. The cigars aren't battling each other. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think I think a cigar. I think people are too quick to say that taste or cigars or art or music or anything is subjective for two reasons. Number one, there are measurable ways to look at the quality of anything that I just mentioned. People who make art and they say, okay, this is good enough, versus somebody who's been making art for many, many years and leveling up every little thing that they're doing with it. Now, it's possible the former person is just a better artist, but often all of,
The outside of the cigar, you can see the construction as it's performing, but you can't see the taste going on in their mind, and that's the problem.
but still, if you're aging your tobacco properly, if you're taking care of all your farming techniques, a great example is Aladino. Think about how much care they put into their stuff, and it's just better, man. Like there's very few cigars that I would smoke over Aladino.
Factor with cigars, anything else, you have marketing and advertising, and then also you have an issue of. When I've talked to guys in the cigar business, when they release a cigar, or when they release a cigar in 3 different sizes or in 3 different wrappers, they're like, we don't know which one's going to stick. The guy from General was telling me we think they made 3 cigars of the same blend. I'm not going to say which one, and like they thought the Robusto was going to be the big seller, and it wasn't. It was the Gordo. And then another cigar, they thought the Gordo was going to be the big seller, so they made more of that, and everyone was buying the fucking Robusto. You don't know how the market's going to respond to each individual.
Well, hold on. You can understand your market.
Doesn't make the Gordo or the Robusto better in a sense to what people are buying, and you got to understand. So it's a complex situation. You know what I'm saying? Though, if you go by volume, like I used to know a legal gun shop dealer in New York, and he goes, "Yeah, if I went by volume, high points are the best guns in the world." He goes, "I sell 2 or 3 high points a day. Like they're cheap. They're $200." But he goes, are those the best guns? No. But he goes, I make profit on them at the store, and they move a lot. He goes, here you have another carbine, 9mm carbines, and it costs $1,200. Yeah, I make more profit on that rifle, and it's a better rifle, but I sell like one a week. You know what I'm saying, though? So that's another factor as well. Like, trust me, we know Quorum is shit, but we know Quorum is making a lot of money.
But Quorum hits the market, and I think that's the point. There are things that hit the market, and there are things that are, let's say, objectively good, or let's say critically good. If you look at it from a person who has excellent taste or trained taste in a certain, like with wine, you can look at that, and if critics are agreeing, that might be critically good. Now, critics might also not know what they're talking about,
But
so there can be an issue there.
modern day critics are all paid off and bought off.
No, but Richie, you're a critic, like it or not.
Paid off though, and I'm
No,
honest.
that's what I'm saying.
But when it comes to that, when it comes down to trust, that takes time. Like where I've had enough people where they're like, yeah, more people than not here trust Richie's opinion. Why?
But that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, and I'm saying you can have a cigar that hits the market. Let's say the El Rey del Mundo, right? It didn't hit the market. People don't know about that cigar. On the other hand, critically, it's a good cigar, according to you, according to everybody who smoked it. So objectively, I would say that's probably what you could objectively consider a good cigar in terms of quality. As a product, you would probably objectively consider it to be worse. Do you see what I mean? Because it's not hitting the market.
Yeah, when it comes to cigars and price points too, I think a lot of the price points are just to put them in a category. I can't stress enough. It's not like the difference between a higher end cigar and a mid tier cigar. It costs them twice as much to make it. I just can't stress that enough. You could say, okay, maybe it costs them a little more to make it because of better construction or
Mhm.
a little more fermentation. But why is this one 25 and this one 12? Because we said so. It doesn't mean they could have sold it at $12, $13, maybe made a little less profit or the same. Who knows, right? But that's a whole other factor. But I also feel with cigars, if you don't price them on the higher end and it is good, they don't get respect. Because how many cigars I smoked at mid tier that I say it's better than the competition at mid tier pricing, but nobody respects it
But
because
that's but
because
but
they.
that's a product angle.
I think when you price it, going back to the pool situation, if you're priced lower than your competition, sometimes that's a bad thing for higher end stuff. You know what I'm saying, though? The more you charge and higher end stuff, the more people believe it has to be better, and then the more buzz happens, and the more gouging doesn't happen on $10 cigars. Gouging happens on $30 cigars. Now they're 60. Why? Because it's got to be better. You know what I'm saying, though. So it's I think at a certain point, you know what I'm saying, though, it creates hysteria.
But this is what I'm saying. That's that's from the product perspective. Do you see what I mean? We're looking at it from how do we work the product and how does it sell? How is it working in the market? That makes sense. And I'm saying aside from that is what is the actual value to price? And that's what a critic can say. They're saying, okay, this is an 8 and it happens to cost $10. This is a 7 and it happens to cost $12. But it has these characteristics. It's for you if you like this profile. It's usable every day. Do you see what I'm saying?
Trying to simplify my process, but if I give a $20 cigar 7 out of 10 and a $10 cigar 7 out of 10, you would say, why would I waste my money and spend it on $20?
Only if you want that flavor profile. They're of equal quality. This is my argument. Obviously, I don't expect that you'll apply it to um, your system because I know you have a well trod system. You've been working on it for a long time. That's not what I mean to say. But I've also been working on a critical system for my time. So I'm sharing. This is the way I would look at something.
Talk about Opus. No, Gio, I disagree with that because Opus prices are like should be $17 to $25. My guy sells Opus all day for 17, 20 MSRP. Most people that are buying Opus are not paying MSRP. So that's secondary. You know what I'm saying? No, or the stores or the online gouging. You know, so Opus at the real price. Like when I'm buying Power Ranger for my guy for like $17, bro, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Now that same cigar, if I went somewhere and they had it for 35, is it still a great cigar? Sure. Price doesn't take away if it's great or if it's bad, but it gives you an incentive or not an incentive to buy it. Does that make any sense? It's kind of like how one animal looks at another animal. Even if that animal knows he can beat that animal, if he knows there's a good chance he's going to get fucked up in the process, they pass. That's why alligators, you see, you don't fuck around with hippos. They could win, they could lose. They're probably going to get fucked up, and then you can't, and then you're going to be disabled, and then a weaker animal could beat you. So,
Right.
so at a certain point, once you start taking something past the MSRP, it gets kind of ridiculous, And making a cigar more expensive than MSRP doesn't make it better. That's all I'm saying too with that.
Yeah, I think for me, I think everybody has their own experience, like their own relationship with it. Because to me, the Cafrati is one of the like my favorite cigars because for the price, what you're paying, I think you're just getting such a phenomenal deal. I don't think, for me personally, I don't need a particularly better cigar than that, and you're getting it at such a good price. So you can get a box and you can put it away and you can see how it ages, and
I
you're not gonna.
To say like Opus is not great would be a lie. It is. I think some guys they smoke cigars because they want other guys to see them smoking it. It's like status.
Sure, but that's what I'm saying. If you're like Geo and you only smoke cigars for the status, then you might buy the Opus. Or you're like Sacco and it doesn't really matter. You just buy whatever you want. You just buy whatever you want. You don't have
If
to
we're
think about the Cafrati.
where you work your ass off and you obtain wealth where you can do that, well, then that's a different level because you have what's called financial freedom. You can do whatever you want. But most people that are struggling in middle class, it's you have to watch your money. Um, you know, so then you have this rating system because if money's if you it's an example. It's kind of like in America. If you get pulled over, if I get pulled over and I get a ticket for $500, but if you're very rich, you get pulled for $500, you laugh at that same ticket. It's not a punishment. In other countries in Europe, they give you a ticket based on your income. So, like in I think Norway, this guy got like a $35,000 speeding ticket because he was a millionaire. Now that's a punishment. Or you see that same ticket for you get what I'm saying though. So in this case, what is a ticket? What's a good ticket? You know what I'm saying though. You say, oh, the ticket's $500. But for you, it's like, man, that's rough. You lost a
Right.
week's. But for a guy making $500 an hour, you're like, I wipe my ass, right? So you could apply that to cigars. And but Gio's talking about, well, if you just smoke less cigars, you can smoke better cigars, and that's true. What if you want to have a cigar every night? So you have to limit your experiences for better quantity over quality, and I get that too, though. But the question is, and I proved it, there's a lot of great cigars you can get that aren't that expensive, and they're not that much worse than a cigar costing twice as much. The more you charge for a cigar, it should have zero excuses. If you're a contractor coming to work at my house and you're expensive, you better be the best contractor. So if I could get any mid-tier contractor to do equal work or almost as good, he's operating. You know what I'm saying? No, like why wouldn't you use that guy? That's all I'm saying. Um, um, yeah, I mean, you can make an endless debate. You know,
Yeah, man. But I think also I think different he says I just go for volume. I mean, I don't even know, man. My collection is junked, so it doesn't really matter. Um
I don't think your collection is junk. You have a lot of great cigars,
no, no,
but
no. I mean, I said junk. They got ruined, so it doesn't matter now. But I had a lot of decent mid plus tier stuff. I just don't really like I don't really like the whole idea of the high end where you're just it's so fancy. Like I guess for me, I guess that's not where I'm at in life, and that's not where I expect to get in life. So I don't know, man. Like I don't need something that's so optimized when it comes to a cigar. I think that Aladino is a great example of somebody who's optimizing the right things and then giving it to you at a good price.
Isaac, when you come to technology, you have quantitative numbers. You could say this computer is this powerful, the resolution of this screen, the speed of this modem is this much. So then you could justify the increased price for better performance. With cigars, it's subjective. Generally speaking, the more you spend, you generally get a better cigar. Generally speaking, but you get what though, So you know,
Dude, when you smoke an Aladino or you smoke a Padron and that tobacco hits you, that is not like your average tobacco because you can taste. It's like if you get good produce. If you get good produce from a farmer's market or fresh or from a farm or right off a tree or something like that, that's a different experience. That's not mass produced food. You sometimes you'll take a bite of an apple or something, it's got no flavor, has no texture. When you have good tobacco, when it's properly grown and harvested and fermented and all this stuff, it has a specific flavor. So that's what I'm saying, and that's an optimization, and you can taste for that. It's the same thing with fruit
okay. So in that case with Aladino, then why is Aladino half the price of Padron?
because they don't have the buzz.
But that's a whole nother factor. And I'm not saying Padron's not good. Padron's great, but nobody gives a shit about Aladino, even though it's great. I'm not saying they don't sell, but that comes down to maybe their marketing, or their product placement and everything else, and their reps. And I don't have an answer.
No, but see, I agree.
Also, nobody cares about Honduran cigars, and that's a sad thing. But here's the flip side: for middle class people, you could smoke great Honduran cigars for a lower price point that are equal or the same or better to an expensive Nicaraguan, and have a great time. We proved it with the Golden Era. The Golden Era is a $12 cigar, cheaper online, um, and people having great times with that. That's a really great Honduran cigar. It's a Honduran Puro. So why isn't that cigar $17?
I
Because
got
you don't see that many Honduran cigars that $20 mark. I've seen a few times Hondurans got frisky with CLE and they charged $25 for. And guess what happened to that box? It's still there. Nobody's going to spend luxury prices on Honduran cigars. You get the one guy, but you know what I'm saying though, is what it is.
yeah, no, dude. CLE they blew it just pricing their stuff up so high. It just doesn't make any sense. But no, look, I agree with what you're saying, and that is all on the product side. That's all on the product side. But what's the actual price to value? That's where I think, you actually come in a way that a lot of people don't. And you'll say, okay, I'm going to judge this cigar on its merits because you've smoked a lot of cigars because you don't talk bullshit. So that's all I'm saying.
The problem is most people are too zoomed in. I've zoomed out so much and I've smoked so many different brands and so many different blends and so many different sizes of the same blend that I can have that experience and I can give that recommendations. You could take it or leave it, but I put in a lot of work, and I don't care if people want to dismiss it or whatever, or you think you know better. Then make your own fucking cigar channel and make your own system and do what you got to do. Other channels just make it simple. Buy it or don't buy it, or good or not good. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Though I could do that. That would be a lot easier. But that's not really subjective to what cigars are. You know what I'm saying? Though.
You're saying good or not good is not subjective to what cigars are? Sorry, can you repeat that
No,
last sentence?
like if you do that, you can simplify that. But how? I don't do that. I go deeper. You know what I'm saying? No, I go much deeper than that. Like I could say this is a good cigar. It is. But what if I just said that and that's it? And then tomorrow I smoke Opus X. And what am I gonna say? Yeah, smoke it. It's a good cigar. What a simple, basic way to.
No, I think the beauty of critique is to be incisive and critical and descriptive, right? That's the whole goal. The more
Or,
descriptive
or,
you can
or
be, the
else
better you're doing.
I can just I can make this down to a few minutes. But it's more than that. For me, it is.
Well, one of the reasons why your reviews are so good is because you bring the cigar out emotionally through your mood, through your demeanor and how you act and how you think. So once you kind of get how Richie works and you watch him smoke a cigar, it's not just what he's saying, it's how he's acting. And that's giving you more information about how the cigar is hitting.
Yeah, the more a cigar excites me, the more I get that smile,
Yeah,
and it's because my mind is going, oh man, oh shit, I can't believe this cigar, and that's a whole nother factor, you know, because the critical part is important, but then the emotional part is important too. But I can't just be emotional; I have to be, decisive. But that's what I choose to do. If not, just go watch other people and just be like, yeah, pass, or yeah, try it, or and that's fine too. You might just want that. You might just want that simple thing. But I sit down to hang out with you guys, whether it's here on live or on a review, and I'll take 20, 30, 40 minutes on a review and really, break it down. And you can take it or leave it. I don't care. It doesn't mean nothing to me, but it is what it is.
how's that cigar? Did it hold up, or did it turn to shit halfway through?
Did I smoke it? Did I finish it?
You did smoke it.
It's great to the nub. It's a 4.0 for a $6.50 cigar. It is a good Habano flavor. It's not great. It's not strong like the El Rico, but it's solid enough to be enjoyed. And if the caveat is it's a $6 and change cigar, it does well against its competition. It doesn't beat a lot of its competition, but it's not the worst $6, $7 cigar I ever had. And of course, you got to factor in its Gurkha, but so that the people are just going to dismiss it. But it is that part. That's not up to me. They've hurt their own reputation. I think
Sure.
they've come a long way, but still, that stigma is going to be there probably forever. You know what I'm saying? Though,
Is what In what situation would you smoke that cigar? If you're saying, okay, I want a mid-range Habano, why would you pick that one? What does that do to differentiate itself?
it doesn't really because if I had the other choices, I said if I was at a store and Rico Habano was there for $8, I'm buying that over it every time. But the question is, if that's the only decent $6, $7 cigar at the lounge, then I would say, oh, then check it out. Because when you go to a lounge, you're limited to what my recommendations are for the whole universe. But then when you go to a lounge, you use that and apply it to what's there, what
Right.
you're dealing with, what's your choices. You know,
Okay, here's my next question. What about if you can get this online for $3? Then how do you feel about it?
$3, you buy a box, then you can fill up your humidor. You have guys coming over for a card game. You know, let them enjoy it. If you want to be snobbish about it, take the band off. Or if you want to do reverse psychology, take the band off. And don't tell them it's a Gurkha Habano. And then see what they say. And they might go, oh, that's really good. And you can say, yeah, that's a $20 cigar. Oh, thanks. And then you can laugh on the inside. You know,
Did, is there anything
oh,
about this? Is there anything about the cigar that makes you say it's lacking in a certain area, or if they just fix one little characteristic about it, it'd be a much
no,
better cigar?
it did everything a cigar is supposed to do. And at the price point, it's accordingly. It's like you can't expect a day laborer to get to do foot surgery, right? But that means that make him a bad worker? No, he's doing what he agreed to be. So the price point is that connection you have with the manufacturer, which has nothing to do with the cigar. You and the manufacturer agree or disagree. If everyone disagrees with the manufacturer, they're going to buy it and they're going to go out of business. And we see plenty of cigar companies come and go, or brands discontinue something because it's not selling. So um, unfortunately, money is a factor when it comes to cigar for most people in reality, and even more for everyone. But some people it doesn't matter. But you get what I'm trying to say though. So uh, it's a more complicated way to factor it in, but I can't see how it's not a factor. You know, um,
Well, I mean, what I was saying earlier with the money versus, it's not that money's not a factor, but it's a different type of factor for each different type of person. That's what I was trying to explain.
I agree with you on that.
So yeah. Um, well, okay, I got one more question then. In terms of you've got this serviceable Habano inside of Gurkha. Um, is there any reason that they need to keep this blend? Do you think it's fitting in perfectly at the $6 price point, just hitting above its weight? Do you think it'll fade into, you know what I mean? Why are they, from a product perspective, why is this needed?
I think their whole line and everything they make and the price points, I don't think nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? Though, so it's I think the brand is so skewed, in their placement that I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. It's not like with Fuente where it's real simple. Like they have everything from curly head to mid tier to higher mid tier to top tier, and it's straightforward, and you know what you're getting into. And with Fuente, you absolutely get what you pay for. So in this case, at MSRP, Opus X at MSRP for $20 is absolutely better than their mid tier Chateau for $10. So their brand is that's everything too. I don't just compare cigars to its competitors. I always compare cigars to its a brand.
Right.
So within your brand, why would I smoke your $15 cigar over your $10 cigar if it's not better? And that happens a lot. But with Fuente, it's 100% accurate. Generally speaking, you know, the more you spend with Fuente, if MSRP, the better cigar you're getting. Once you get to the closer part, like between Don Carlos and Anejo, like a $13 cigar versus like true Anejo price $16, you can say, "Well, I like one better than the other," but that's getting close. But you
Right.
could Don Carlos or Anejo to a Chateau, like yeah, those are both way
Right.
more. So the more you zoom in, they become a little more closer to each other. But if you zoom out, so with Gurkha though, I don't. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I just try. I just at least just try to be honest with the brand. But even then, for
Yeah.
me, there's not that brand loyalty, or it's almost like a brand unloyalty. It's like people even that smoke Gurkha now are coming back to it. It's like, yeah, we know about the past, but we'll give him another chance. It's like a guy that cheated on his wife and got caught. Oh, baby, come back, please, please, and like I'll be better, I swear. And like and
Yeah.
so I mean, I don't think that really matters. You know, I don't think anything matters as far as their brand, as far as how they represent themselves. I think they're trying to unrepresent themselves. I think Gurkha's best thing they could do is make you forget it's Gurkha, and just hopefully, if it's good, you try it because, unfortunately, they're the most loudest brand with gigantic bands, and they don't do really fancy box. The guy that's running it now, at least he's smart enough. He says we're not doing fancy boxes anymore, which is smart because why have
Yeah.
at a higher cost for a box? He said he wants to put the money into the tobacco, which is the smart idea. I mean, you look at Padron; it's a basic little wooden box, but you're getting all the money's going into
Right.
the tobacco. That's all I'll say about that. But I'm gonna go to sleep because I got to get up early, and I didn't want to cut you off. But you know me, I'll go 5 hours with you, but it is a work night, and
Literally, man.
Richie has feelings, so I want to say, fuck this place. This is the last episode. I don't care about this place. I'm never gonna see you guys again. Go hang out with Vixen. Go hang out with the other guy. And or the other guys. Whatever you want to do. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You all frustrate me. And if you think you can do better, go make your own channel, and then I'll come by in the comment section, and I'll be like Gio, I'll be like, I'm not ready to come on. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
All
All
right,
right.
Richie.
It was a good conversation. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, it was nice to see you.
Yeah. And the
Nice.
endless debate on how to compare and contrast as far as quality, and then adding in the price point, and then adding in the competitors, and then to its own self. It is a dynamic situation. It's almost like stock analysis. But I mean, I think it has its place. You know, I could just simplify and say yes or no. But
Well, I'd be very. I know. I'm sorry. And I'm not trying to get into this, but to wrap up my whole thing, I would say I would be very interested to see your say. Okay, this is where I would fit it. This is the price. I would give it a 4.0. Okay, fine. But just as a general cigar rating, it's a 3.5. I'd be curious. I'm not saying do it, but it would be interesting to see your interpretation versus uh, just a general interpretation.
start doing that, I have to start factoring the internet price and gouging price too. Not every
Yeah.
car has an internet price, And not every cigar has a gouge price, but every cigar has an MSRP price. Does that make any sense?
Well, I did like, yeah, okay. I think the old system was kind of nice as well because you could say, okay, this is approximately a very good cigar, or approximately an amazing cigar. You know what I mean? Um, but I guess it was against the price. So yeah. Anyway, it was all good. Good chat.
It kind of still is the same, and the 4.0 is just good, and then with like 4.1, 2, and 3 becomes very good. Amazing is like 4.5, 6, and 7,
Okay,
and like godlike is 0.8 and 9. So
got
it
you. Okay,
kind of is, if it's less than a 4.0, it's kind of, I'm not going to recommend it at all. What what's the point?
yeah.
So
All
so
right.
take that to factor in that cigar is on the bottom level of that. But then you factor in, but it's only $6, so then it's worth trying.
But at the same time, it doesn't sound like it was giving you anything that you haven't had before. So if you can get any other
Yeah,
Habano, then
when it comes to Habano, they're very formulaic. They're very formulaic. You know.
I haven't had that. I actually find Habano to be a little bit less formulaic than Maduro or Connecticut on average, for my palate.
Um. Yeah, that's your opinion. And I don't see that. I mean, Maduro has a lot more range. I mean, depending is it Mexican San Andreas Maduro, is
Yeah.
it Broadleaf Maduro? Is it this or that? Is it Nicaragua Maduro? So I don't know, but
But at the same time, it seems like you consider Corojo, Criollo, even Sumatra, straight Habano 2000, like all that inside of Habano. So
well, because they all, no matter what, they all have pretty much the same, almost the same profile. So the difference is just going to be quality, and then the construction, etc. But Habanos to me, and that's my take on that is how they feel. They're very similar because you could take that cigar, and then you could take the Gurkha Nicaragua, you could take the Monte Cristo Nicaragua, you could take the Gurkha Pure Evil. Um, what's some other the El Rico Habano, and their profiles are all very similar, but the difference is price and strength and quality, which to me are a factor. It's kind of like a car. This, two different cars will both get you there, but some are a lot nicer and have more refinements within it. But both will get you to work. But you get what I'm saying, though. But
I think Aladino has a certain type of flavor to it. I think my father has a certain type of flavor. Often I kind of get a berry note off of it. So I think there's sort of different versions of the same thing, which
well,
is separates it.
if you get that, I don't get that on those.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm gonna go to sleep, and
Have a good night, sir.
you go to bed. All right.
All right.
I'll see you later.
All right.
And
Bye,
fuck
Rich.